Hey guys, how y'all doing today? This is D Durrell with D Durrell Life Solutions. Happy to be here once again. Definitely want to engage in verbal discourse with you. So let's have my discussion. What I like to talk about, the topic that I want to discuss, the question is, should the black community celebrate the freedom of Bill Cosby? As you all know, Bill Cosby was released today, was found to be innocent of the charges of all the alleged things that they said happened to him. I'm not going to get into that. But what I want to focus on is, should the black community be celebrating? Should the black community be happy? The fact that Bill Cosby, who many view was unjustly incarcerated, and that many of those crimes that were against him, the alleged charges that were pending against him, were terminal, were to me past statutes of limitations, if that does exist. Again, I'm not a legal mind, but I'm just stating many things that occurred with that, the amount of people that were thrown against Bill Cosby. It started off with a few. Before you know it, you had almost 50 or more people. Kind of a similar thing that has happened to Deshaun Watson. And then once they want to make things public, a bunch of these people just exited out of the lawsuit. So they found that some things were not done correctly as far as the statutes against him. It was a matter of technicality. And to me, I think the exoneration of Bill Cosby, to me, is an example of how politically corrupt our judicial system is. It shows the fact of that this is a criminal injustice system that we have, and that it targets black people, particularly black men. Doesn't matter what your social economical background is, no matter how poor you are, or it doesn't matter how wealthy you are in the case of Bill Cosby. And to be honest with you, unfortunately, this will not be the last time that something like this occurs. Our system that we live in, our criminal justice system, our government has a habit of targeting black people that they don't like and pending charges against them, hoping for convictions. And they've been pretty successful at that. Unfortunately, in this case, Mr. Cosby, who's probably well over 80 years old now, and each day is more precious and precious. The older he gets, the more precious those days are. Missed 2 years of his life that he had to spend in prison. Those 2 years he will never get back. Those 2 years he spent missing Christmases, birthdays, just spending time with his family, grandchildren. I think he also had another child that passed away during that time. So this is a man, to me, from a psychological standpoint, is probably exhausted. He's tired. He just wants to rest. I think he just wants to rest and live out the rest of his days as comfortable as possible. For God's sake, the man has to deal with the lack of vision, okay? Which to me lowers his quality of life, okay? We cannot discount that. Although he has been freed today, and I think that this is something that is today he feels like he's on top of the world. But no amount of money, no amount of income, no amount of success can take back those 2 years that he lost, particularly at his age. He will never get that back. Those were 2 years that he could not be with his wife, his children, his family. Those were 2 years that he could have actually made more money doing whatever Bill would do to make money. At his age now, his credibility has been shot. We look at his estate, his career, to me, was already, on the downfall because of his age. But Bill Cosby will never be seen as he once was before these things occurred. And to me, that's the tragedy of it all. I find it very, very encouraging that the black community, from what I've seen on social media, they support Bill Cosby. They feel that he was unfairly treated. And for the most part, they are in support of him, as myself. I found it very heartening. I watched Fox News today, and there were white people, particularly white ladies, talking about how they were so crushed and disheartened the fact that Bill has been released, and they feel like their stomach is cringing. And to me, that speaks to the differences in the way black people perceive things and in the manner that white people perceive things. Because as you all know, in our history, there's a certain group of women in the majority culture that have been used to weaponize against black men, and, and in many cases cause death, incarceration, and through divorces and so forth, loss of income, loss of wealth that is transferred out of the black community to other communities. Bill Cosby risked his empire that he built based on the irresponsible things that he did in the past. I'm not saying he committed a crime, but at the very least, Bill was very irresponsible. Bill did things that, to me, a man of his stature shouldn't even have to do. And unfortunately, it took years and years for those things to come out, as opposed to holding him accountable. Now, should he have went to prison? I don't think so. But we cannot ignore the fact that certain things did happen while he was married, and that was his karma. So I hope that at this point, Bill can tell his story, the last chapters of his life, as we may know it to be, and he can be, in some sense, a testament to, as a people, how we need to be more careful, how we operate, and how we function in this society. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. This is D. Durrell, Life Solutions.